So good morning and welcome to everyone in today's free training webinar, where I would like just to take you through current features and user enhancements, as well as what is new in BC26 that is coming. Good. So for today's agenda, we had a webinar last year in August, which was based on the version 24 release. In the meanwhile, there was another release on Business Central 25 and a new release, Business Set 26, that it will be starting to roll out in April. So I'll be taking you through both 25 and 26 so that you can see what functionalities and what's new already in the version that you currently have for cloud customers, as well as what to be looking out for in version 26. I've split it up into different enhancements. So in the user interface enhancements, manufacturing improvements in version 26, what is the performance enhancements that Microsoft assisted us with in version 26, more functionality in version 25 regarding Copilot and AI innovation, and also some reporting and analytics that Microsoft assisted and helped us so that we can actually use our data to the best of the abilities. So just a quick introduction. I'm Gerard Meinhardt. I will be presenting today's what's new in version 26 today. Thank you for the time. And then I also have Marco Belcher, which will be the moderator. Marco will be assisting in the Q&A sections. So if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to go to the Q&A section and post the question there. And Marco, thank you for your assistance to help answer questions. If there's anything that you would like to post to the webinar, please feel free to do so. So in Business Central, for different versions, I think it's always good just to check for the version that you currently as on. And how do we check for the version is just a quick presentation slideshow that I've just put together to show when major and minor releases, updates in the Business Central world happens. For example, twice a year, there's version updates, so that's your major updates, where you will receive a lot of new functionality. In between, on a monthly basis, you'll still receive minor updates, which may include bug fixes or may include enhanced functionalities to major releases that were done. So if you look at the timeline here, you can see that BC25 that I will show you today in functionality that most of the cloud customers should be on was released in October last year. The last webinar was before this, so I would like just to also take you through what is done in 25, what you can look out for, and then 26, version 26 that will be released soon in your environment. Microsoft has officially announced the release of 26 Tuesday this week. So just a quick overview on when to expect all the major updates, version driven. Maybe just more to that, so that you can understand when you look out for the versions. You can see then 25 was the October 24 onwards, and then 26 is the new one that will be soon roll out to your environments that Microsoft releases earlier this year. Maybe just if I can show you where to check for your version as well, which would be great then for yourself to know which version. So in Business Central, if you open up the homepage, you can see there's a question mark help. I'm sure everyone knows the help. And if you move down to the help and support button function there, you can see that the version has been displayed as version 25. So just for your benefit to see what is the next version, or the version you're currently on. Cool. So just a little bit of introduction and technicalities around the versions. Let's jump into what was the enhancements on a user interface, user experience for version 25. So this is the version then released after October. So most of the cloud customers should already be on version 25. And I think it's good just to also make you aware of those enhancements that you can benefit from already. So the first enhancement that I want to talk and take you through is the way that Business Central has enhanced their search capabilities. So maybe when you're on an item card or on a custom card, you type in the small search bar a couple of characters to find data. And sometimes you need to be precise in adding in that specific filter or that criteria when you search for records. So Microsoft introduced in version 25 the modern search function, which is a newer, faster, and more flexible search method. The key difference then between the legacy search, which is now in version 24 and earlier, is that in the legacy search, it only searches for a record that contains the exact words you enter, whilst in your modern search, it can match words in any order. For example, if I go into Business Central, and you'll see that I'm in version 25, just to show you, you should be able to do this already. If I go to the items list, and just maybe for everyone's benefit, the environment that I'm using is the Cronus environment that Microsoft supplied for us so that we can do some testing in this environment. So there's fictitious data. So in an item list, if I type in, for example, chair blue, and I want to search and find all the blue chairs that's in my item list, you can see that with a legacy search, I have no returns in record. But you'll find there's a small little down arrow next to the X or the cross to delete your search. If you click on that, there's your new modern search functionality. So if you click then on the modern search, you can see that when I type chair blue, it then finds more data. So it don't look at exact words, but it also finds records that contain matching data. So if you also type in chair green, just for example, it will come and it will bring back for your chair green or green chair or green. So this ability would help you then to find your records easily. This legacy search is then replaced by modern search, and you can find it on most of your tables. So if you want to find a purchase order, if you want to find customers or vendors, you should be able to easily find it now with the new search function. Cool. Next is you can resize your columns in any of your views without your personalization screen enabled. So if I go back to Business Central, and maybe you open up a sales order. In the past, you would need to go to personalize, so to resize or make your columns a little bit bigger to find your data flow easier. So now you can do without your personalization, you can go and you can just resize all your columns as you would wish to do so. Just a small benefit, but it's good just to know that as well. And then other user interface, what's a drag and drop file upload for multiple files. So this means if you're on a master data card or you're on a transactional card where you have purchase orders or purchase invoices and you want to attach that purchase invoice to that specific document in Business Central, you can now also do the drag and drop functionality in Business Central by adding multiple files and not one by one. So if I go to, for example, if I go maybe to a purchase order, and I would like to add the original purchase order that I got from my supplier on my specific document. I'm going to open up a specific document, like a purchase order 106002. And then on the facts box on the right, if you click on that little eye on the right, it will open up then for you your ability so that you can add multiple documents. But as you can see, most of you do have the ability or had the ability before to drop and drag files with Business Central. The reason for that is that you are subscribed to our Linc extended document attachments app, which allowed you before the update of Microsoft to drag and drop files to the specific cards in Business Central. However, in Microsoft Release 25, they also do have the ability to drag and drop files, but not as easy as we do with the Linc app. With the Linc app, you can drag and drop files by just getting your files. Just going to do a couple of files here. And you can bring them over and you can drag them drop straight to your purchase order card, and it would attach it for you to this card. Microsoft would want you to still click on the drop-down menu and then upload your files, where you can add in multiple files and upload them. So if you are subscribed to the Linc Extended Document app, you would be having the ability to drag and drop straight onto the attachments card, whereas in Microsoft gives you the ability now to do multiple uploads, but you would need to go to the upload files functionality, and then only you can upload your files. Cool. So just some extended documents. So if you are interested in the Linc Extended Document Attachments app, please feel free to send an email on to Joandre, which will gladly assist. Let's move on to user interface enhancements in version 26. So as you can see in the presentation, there's improvements in user experience and productivity. Screenshot that I took from the official release of Business Central 26 earlier in the week, which allows us better previewing of PDF attachments, optimized screen estate usage, and so forth. I'm going to work just through a couple of those enhancements just to show you, which I think you could benefit immediately. So the first I want to show you is adjust the fact box pane width. So as you know, if you want to work optimally in Business Central, you would always want that extra room on the side so that you can see your complete and full document for a better workflow. And this fact box pane is always in the way. So if I go to Business Central, I would like to show you, so you can see I'm now in version 26, just to show you this functionality. And as you know, if you go to customers, the fact book pane, or in any other pages, this fact book pane can always be a nuisance in a way, but it could also have a benefit of just seeing for the specific customer some historical information, sales, or any open or closed documents. And you would always want to just close this fact box pane so that you can have more flow in the screen. In version 26, you have now the ability to resize your fact box pane so that you can still have the ability to have your fact box pane on the right, but also optimize your work screen so that you have a good flow of work. So you can resize this fact box panes as you wish, and it's not only on your custom card, but it's always on your transactional data. So if you want to see some stats in any of your documents that you've created, you could also just drag and make your fact box a little bit bigger, resize that. So the next, together with the adjust of the fact box panes width, there's also the optimized screen usage on the web. So as you know, in Edge, which is the browser that Microsoft prefers for us to run Business Central in, or in Chrome, when you expand your screen, for example, if you use the width of the wide layout, Microsoft also enhances this now for a better experience. And so you can see that if I used, for example, on my sales order screen, the smaller or the enhanced view, that you can use it optimally within your screen to the full potential, which makes it easier for you not to have these pop-out screen there, which is a little bit smaller. just want to show on customers as well. So you could have a wider or narrow view, and it's not the in 25 and earlier on the sites where you have the blank space where you could not use your screen optimal. So it makes the workflow makes it easier for you then to maximize your productivity and efficiency in a web client. Cool. Next, another enhancement that Microsoft added to version 26 was to check the total purchase amounts on documents, which I think is a useful feature. So if I go into Business Central 26, and if I go to a specific purchase document, like a purchase invoice, I'll just open up the first purchase invoice in the list. You will notice that there's a doc amount including VAT and a doc amount VAT fields, which is added now for you to test and ensure that the document total equals your lines totals. So if you receive a purchase order and you capture your purchase order, you can start off with capturing in the amount and the total amount. And after you capture your document, trying to post this purchase order where the total of the lines captured is not equal to your header amounts that you add in doc amount, you'll get an error, which will Microsoft then tells you that that amount is not in balance, which I believe is a good check. It will tell you the doc amount, including that, is not equal to the lines of 139, which is a good check, especially on the procurement side, these documents captured. Cool. Let's move on then to the next is also which we feel is a good user experience. In version 25 earlier on, when you have your attachments, like we've added attachments now to the specific documents, like a purchase order or a purchase invoice, or maybe if you have customer attachments added to your custom card, it's always difficult to view that attachment because Business Central will download it to your PC and then you would need to open the download, which now changed so that you can preview the attachments before you decide whether you want to download it or not. So if I go into Business Central 26 and if I go to a purchase order, for example, you will see that there's a document that I've added onto the first purchase order document, which you can see in the attachment list. So if I click on that document attachment, it's giving me the preview in the web itself. So you don't have to download the PDF first before you then open it. You still have the ability now to download a file to your PC if you want to do so. So I think that's also a good flow in Business Central 26. Cool stuff. So let's move on. I would like just to also introduce the enhanced features on manufacturing. Not going to do a physical demo on reversing entries or printing label, but I think it would be good just to take you through the enhancements that Microsoft has done in version 26. So first of them is you can block items or variants from your production output. So that means then when an item or item variant is production blocked, it isn't available in the specific pages, which is then on your production order header or on your production order lines. So that means on your item card, you have a field which you now can select production blocked, and you can select where that output needs to be blocked, like we've set in the screenshot here. And that means that you can't post output to that specific item. It won't be available on your release production order or your release production lines. It's also extended, like mentioned earlier, to the variants. So if you would only like to block output to a specific variant, you can then select that on your item variants page, which help you so that you can manage your output posted to specific finished goods items. Microsoft also includes the ability to cancel a production order that have consumption. So this means when a production order has been captured and there's consumption posted against the production order where there's no output entry, so it means there's no output finished goods item registered, you still have the ability now to cancel your production order with that consumption, and that consumption will then be reversed. Yeah. Another feature or function that Microsoft added to the manufacturing module is you can now print barcodes from your production orders, which I think would be a very good feature to have. So you can print your output label straight off that specific production order using your normal ISO barcodes as displayed in the screenshot. You could also reopen finished production orders one time in version 26. But there is some limitation to that functionality. So if there's no output posted against that finished production order, you have the ability to open it once in Business Central. So it will also help you to use output and cost if there's any WIP that needs to be written off or whatsoever. And then lastly, in manufacturing, you have the ability now also to do your item journals, your output, and your consumption in an edit in Excel way. So it's easier then to enter data faster for you to update any of these consumption journals or item journals or output journals that you would need to post. You might find this feature to enhance the way that you include lots or serials or manage your expiration dates. So it gives you that capability. Good. So that's on manufacturing. Just wanted to highlight a couple of those enhancements that's been done in that module. In version 26, Microsoft added performance improvements as well to the client itself. First of them that I want to introduce is when you open up a page, there might be some flow fields. So maybe the term flow fields, just to explain, is a flow field is not a physical table field, but it's a field that Microsoft added that has calculation behind it to bring back for you, maybe for example, the customer balance or the customer balance due or the vendor balance due. So those drill down fields that you find in Business Central is flow fields. Microsoft enhances the system performance by only calculated values for flow fields that's visible on the pages. So that means if there's 10 flow fields on that specific page, but you only have 3 visible in your client, those 3 will only be calculated. So that should lead to faster page load times and improve efficiency. So this change will then also boost the performance and help manage system resources more effectively, which will obviously then benefit your business operations. So that's one performance improvement that you will notice in Business Central. Another performance improvement is we find from time to time when there's a lot of inventory transactions that's happening, is that you can't post all those inventory related transactions at the same time. Microsoft gives us the ability now to post more than one inventory transaction at the same time. However, when there is GLs linked to the specific inventory transaction, they might be from the GL side wait for transactions to commit first. But this would also have a huge improvement in posting inventory transactions, maybe more specific to item journals as well. And then more on the inventory side, yeah, maybe just that screenshot that I've added in from the Microsoft webinar as well, where they introduced some of these new features and performance. So that's when posting the inventory related transactions, Microsoft has an improvement of 324% that they've make us excited about when we post these specific inventory related transactions. Cost adjustment improvements as well. Microsoft also introduces a new engine which improves the cost adjustments in Business Central, which then enhance the processing speed, provide greater control over adjustments, introduce proactive issue notifications. So in Business Central, with the new cost adjustment improvement functionality, Microsoft will notify you to say, for best performance, we would recommend you to run a just cost job, or it would recommend you that you would need to start to use inventory periods for a more accurate inventory valuation, to reduce your financial discrepancies, or maybe increase your operational efficiency. So there's a huge benefit to the inventory side on cost adjustments, allowing you to post more transactions at one time, as well then, as we see in the first, calculate your values only for those flow fields that's active on the page. So this should be very exciting for inventory related transactions for customers that would benefit from that. Let's move on then to the next areas in Business Central, and that's Copilot and AI. So in version 25, which I mentioned before, we all should be on version 25. The new functionality to chat with Copilot has now become available. So I would just like to show you. And as we know, Microsoft spent a lot of time and energy into Business Central as the tool, so that for specifically Copilot and AI innovations, and they enhance literally month by month. So in version 25, you'll see next to your sandbox or your environment name, company name, there's the Copilot option that you can select. So if you selected that Copilot option, for those of you that have it enabled, please feel free to interactively go with me in your current version. So on your main screen, opening up Copilot, you have the ability now to ask Business Central a couple of questions. For example, if you don't know how to release a sales order, you can just select your option here. How do I release the sales order? And then Microsoft will come back to you and tell you step by step, or it will add a link for you in your chat so that you can actually go to Microsoft Help to assist you. So Microsoft added some steps to release a sales order. You can follow these steps and it will add for you the steps. Or then you can refer to the article that's online. So it will take you straight to Microsoft Help as well, where you can read through the whole document as well on the web, or find other related articles that might help you and you can benefit from in Chat of Copilot. Chat Copilot has different tasks that you can do. You can use the find or lookup option, or you can use the explain and guide, as we just selected how do we release a sales order, or you can just add a question where you can ask Business Central. And if we can just type a question in Business Central to ask and use the chat pilot, you can just say maybe total sales by customer per month. So without even going somewhere else, you can go into the chat feed of Copilot and you can start giving instructions or adding some questions in Business Central using Copilot. So the Copilot comes back and says, sure, you can view the total sales by customer per month using the analysis assist feature. And then you can you can click on the open analysis tab where Microsoft or the chat Copilot will take you straight to that specific page where you can then have that at your fingertips to say that this customer, this is my total sales, listed as we've done just using the Copilot chat functionality. So I think this could definitely enhance your work productivity to just use your AI chat tool to find some benefits. You can type difficult questions as well in the chat. It would kind of understand that well. So if you don't know how to post output on a production order, or if you don't know how to do partial receipts, you can just go into the Copilot chat screen function here, and you can start and you can type out the question. Cool stuff. So you should be able to have that functionality already to be able to use the chat Copilot function. Also, the analyze list in your current version of 25 was improved with new functionality. And I would just like to show you quickly there. Whilst we're in the analysis list view, so this is now on posted sales invoices. You remember in the previous videos, we showed you about the analysis mode. So if you click on the button, you'll go back to your normal listed transaction of posted sales invoices. But if we go back to the analysis list views, this is where we can use Copilot to our benefit to create for us different analysis views here. Create more than one view on the same page for easier reporting so that you can have your data talk to you. But what has been enhanced in the analysis view is that you can move back and forth between your different analysis questions that you've done. So if you added in a group by location, for example, and you generate and update your analysis tab, you can now see it's been grouped by the location, but you can also add in another function or another filter option that you can add in here and say by due date, for example. So you can keep on growing onto your specific analysis view that you create using Copilot. And the great enhancement of that is you can go back to the previous search in Copilot so that you can move in history or move forward to have different results. And at any time you can save then moving back and forth in your analysis results of your Copilot assistance and save those as new analysis list views for yourself and for your benefit. And so that's just some improvements that Microsoft done for us on the analysis view. You should be able to have that benefit already. Also, as we've seen in the previous introduction, we can go to a sales order and we can generate sales lines. Microsoft also improved that already in version 25, which I want to show quickly. So if I go to a sales order, we have a sales order that we can use. Let's go to any one of these sales orders. School of Fine Art. And then in the lines of the sales order, we have the Copilot button that we can do and use. You can see that there's suggest sales lines and there's suggest sales line from file. So you could have a CSV file that you can literally analyze by Copilot and which can be then populated in your sales documents. If you select sales lines, you can then add in different criteria to describe the items and quantities you want to add in. But what is more is you can also attach that CSV file and upload that lines to be added. If I go back to the sales line suggest, there's another functionality that Microsoft added, which you can say copy line items from the last posted invoice, or add line items, and you can add specific criteria in it. So there's a prompt guide that Microsoft added as well for you in the enhanced version, which is now available in version 25. Cool. Another functionality that Microsoft added in 25 is to create product information faster with Copilot. So for example, you can add quick item substitute for specific items. I'm going to do a quick demo. I know our time is a little bit on the short end, but let's see if we can do that as well. Go to items. And then we can go to a specific item. Let's go to item number 2000, Sydney Swivel chair green. And we would like to add substitute. So once this chair is not available to sell, what other substitute items can the salesperson use? Or what other substitutes that we can use in production? So if I go to substitutes, Microsoft has the ability now to also use the Copilot, suggest with Copilot, which would now suggest some substitutes, finding criteria on description or maybe other variants, and it will then add a few suggestions, which you can add as your substitutes. And even more to that is you can also add the ability of lines and confidence, so that you can actually see what is the confidence of those items that Microsoft uses to calculate and find the specific substitutes. So if you see that those two chairs might be some low, or you still want to add them, you can leave them on the list. Or if you decide that that specific item is not part of the substitutions list that I want to add in, you can just delete that line. And if you're happy that the result of Microsoft is perfect, you can just say insert all, and it will add for you those item substitution. Just some enhancements, quick enhancements that might help you with productivity and save you some time. I'm just going to mention the next one on bank account reconciliations as well. The bank account reconciliation assistance with AI has also been enhanced with transaction matching, with rule-based matching now included as well, to remain the unmatched transactions. And as well, the AI-powered GL account suggestion, where Copilot look at your chart of accounts and suggest and see which account you can use to post any of these residual transactions, based on a specific transaction description. And it can also save those, like in the old Pastel Bank Manager, where you can then go back when you import your next bank statement for your reconciliation. Those text to map is already available for you to have faster bank account reconciliations. Good. So that's version 25. Quick on version 26 is that we have the autofill with Copilot functionality, which I'll show you shortly as well. On the specific item or customer card, you don't have to fill in all the fields yourself. You can use the autofill function by Copilot. It's Copilot search through the data from your current page, from fact boxes in any other related pages, and also going through statistics to identify for you what is then important, so that you don't have to type all those text in by yourself. We'll just do a short demo on that quickly before we go on with the summary. So in version 26, if I then want to maybe create a new item or a new customer card, you would find then you'll have this Copilot suggest or autofill function, So if you add in a name, for example, there, I'm just going to add in Linc communications, for example, purposes, and then it would go find and look through all historical transactions, informations, going through fact boxes and see if it could find any information on that. And whilst it's busy working on it, you can also do that by credit limits in the past. You can also do it by responsibility center or any other fields that where Copilot is enabled. So you can see in communication, it suggested a salesperson by the name of Joe with master data setup. It also suggested a document sending profile to be direct filed. So you can select on the top right then to keep those values or discard those values which Copilot then suggested for you. So, for example, if you go then to your posting details as well, do you think that this should be a domestic posting group? You can ask Copilot as well and see what Copilot thinks of what you need to have as your posting group in here going forward. And yes, it shows that domestic would be the correct, which you can then keep your suggestions from using your Copilot functionality. Microsoft added also the summary with Copilot. With the time catching up a little bit, I'm not going to do the demo with the summary, but on the fact box, for example, on a customer, there's a summary functionality in version 26, which then summarize for you your customer to give you your balance. It's like writing a short little story with facts to summarize customers, vendors, or any transactional data where that summary is then enabled. And then something just to mention as well, Copilot and AI together is also there to assist you with your payables processes to help and assist. We call it the payable agent in Business Central, which can then assist you with time-consuming transactions and tasks. I just want to mention that, not going to do a demo on that now, but also if you want to read more about that, is that it uses the ability, integrates to Outlook or it integrates to SharePoint. It goes through that specific attachments, creates the purchase invoice document in Business Central for review, which allows then your AP clerk to have more free time on hand. Just wanted to mention that as well. Cool. Let's move on then to reporting and analytics, which is then the last piece of just enhancements that I want to share with you today. So in Business Central, if we need to find a report, it could potentially be very challenging to find sometimes the correct report, which I would just like to show you how easy it is to find reports in Business Central itself. So let's do that quickly. We'll go into version 26. You can use your global search function, and then you can use the exploring reports options, which will then list for you all the available reports in Business Central per functional area to make it easier for you to find some reports. So clicking on the explore report, you can see that you can also expand or collapse all of these functional areas, which makes it easier for you. So if there's a report that you might want to find on inventory, you can go to the inventory grouping, and you can see there's 14 specific reports on inventory, and you can work through the specific reports to see which one would be of great value for you. What Microsoft also added in version 26 is next to report is the small little I, which gives you information about the report itself. So it tells you specifically on this production order WIP report where you can use and benefit from using this report. Microsoft also added in the open a new window functionality so that you can take that report straight to a new window whilst you still continue working and find other reports or finding other master or other transactional poster data in Business Central itself. So you can run this report in a specific window. Also, if you selected the report, maybe, for example, analyze by location analysis, analysis which Microsoft have available for you. You can also use the help and support function, which could then potentially tell you more about this report, and you can also find more information. For example, about inventory by location analysis. So if you're not sure what this report is all about, you have the inventory by location analysis report, and you can also open that report, document, text, learn material, which then can introduce and tell you more about the report and what's the intent of this report. Where can this report be very useful? So I think that's also a great feature to have is sometimes, and I know it's difficult for us to find some reports, but you can use that on the global search function, or you can also use the all reports button on top of your role. Depends on the type of role that you have in Business Central as well, to find those reports. And more to that, then the information that you have, or the ability to open that in a new window, having the information available so that you can directly go to the web and find more about the report itself. Microsoft also enhances and adds more reports regularly. So it's always good to see if there's a new update or new feature that you investigate to see what Microsoft had added for us. Something else that I also want to just mention is for finance report, there's new Excel reports. I'm not sure if you started to use some of the Excel reports that refreshes with the OData connection. Microsoft added additional to the existing reports, which is your fixed asset details, your fixed assets analysis, and fixed asset projected value. Also to mention is in version 26, I'll just show maybe a quick Excel report as well. But in version 26.1, which should be ready by after May 2025, you should be also having a new report, which is your sales order performance analyst report that Microsoft will release. I've seen some screenshots and results. There's a video around it as well to see how you can benefit from the sales order performance analysis. It gives you, don't want to add all the screenshots in here, but it gives you quite from where you start with the sales cycle to have maybe a potential sale to what is your KPI indicators, which I think it's a great report that Microsoft allows us to use in Business Central. So if I can quickly just go to some of the Excel reports. So if we have a look here in version 26, we can see that there is a role center with a couple of functionalities. I've just closed that role center so that I can have the ability to go to my Excel report. So your Excel report should be fully visible on your role center. So if I go to the Excel report, I'm just going to do an example quickly. For example, the H accounts receivable, which is a new one that they've added for us to version 26. Just going to do a quick download of that report. It downloads it straight into the Excel type from the parameters that we've used. Just putting it over to the screen here. So while I allow the editing and the content enabling, you'll find that Microsoft will start and refresh this report for us based on the filters that we initially used. And you can see in your first tab will be your printable version. So you can easily go and you can print out this report, which should fit on one page. Or you can then analyze that by period with your different Excel filters that you can use, or by period in foreign currency, or what is due by currencies. And what is great about this, there's an article that you can follow if you go to the About Report tab, where you can learn more about this specific report. So there's some exciting stuff that Microsoft added for us, which we can go and read. I'll share those links as well after the webinar is finished. So that you can also go through that. Just the trial balance budget. These are all new reports, Excel layout reports that Microsoft added. You can see the screenshot captured from their webinar on Tuesday. Very exciting to try them out. Just maybe as before we go on the Power BI side, I know time is a little bit short, but let's go to the Power BI side. I'm sure all of you have started to invest some time in getting the Power BI reports working, connected to the specific apps in the web client. Just a show on those reports. Again, if I go to the reports, all the reports functionality to find those reports, you could see that it was Microsoft added the Power BI reports grouping so that we can easily find those Power BI reports. There is Power BI reports connector setup that needs to be done beforehand before these reports can work. But I would just like to show you the financial overview. So this is the Power BI embedded reports that you can open up within Business Central. Please let us know if you would need any help to set up these Power BI reports with the connector. And as you can see, I can just open that up and expand it a little bit. With this financial overview, there's functionalities or there's visualizations in this report, top 5 customers by balance, asset turnover, one of these financial overview dashboards that you can use to filter, so you can indirectly filter the data as well. Yeah, or you can also have the ability to filter like you have in Power BI on the side as well. If you want to add specific GL accounts or remove specific GL accounts, or you want to add dimensions in here, then you also have the ability to do so. In your Power BI embedded reports, let me show maybe one more. If I just collapse on the finance side for the Power BI reports, maybe we can just do on the inventory side. So there's also an inventory overview Power BI report that you can use embedded in Business Central, which you can use then to your benefit to see what is my inventory quantity by location, projected available balance, my gross requirement, or my scheduled receipts. Once again, you have the ability to work through your filters and then filter your Power BI report as you wish. So please let us know if you need help on that. I think that's also a great feature that Microsoft included for us. Maybe more on the Power BI side. In version 26, there would be more enhanced sales report as well to show profitability, demographics, and also AI-assisted analysis on your sales data, which would be available in Power BI. Cool. Something else that I can mention as well is there's financial reports added. So in Business Central, as you know, account categories on your GL account card plays an important role so that you can have good financial reports. And I'm going to show that very quickly, which you then can generate some financial reports. Microsoft had 4 reports that we could use, and I'm sure everyone can name them by hand. But Microsoft has also enhanced the financial reports now with more reports to see a detailed balance sheet or to see a detailed income statements or to have some data for a cash flow chart. So there's additional financial reports also added. So please feel free to join in your financial reports in version 26 and see new column and row definitions was added for your benefit so that you can have the ability now to compare easily month by month, previous year, same month to this month, previous year to date, this year to date, which now forms part of some of your default reporting. Yeah, so you can see just a quick, not running the report, you can have already your January, February, March month added for you in here for your financial year. having new row and column definitions added for us to have the ability for better financial reporting. Cool. Something else that I would also like to mention, Microsoft spent quite a bit of time on having the ability for Word report layout. So that's document layout. So when you want to change some cosmetic changes or add a field or more fields around within your report, your sales invoice, for example, customers have the ability to use Word. And Microsoft enhances also the experience in Word for customers to easily move around fields, make them bold, and so forth. So there's a lot of enhancements that Microsoft added in version 26 so that customers can assist themselves, help themselves, having the Word layout to do cosmetic changes or having the ability to move some fields around or have the ability to connect to the data in that report and add fields that's available in that specific report data sets. So that would help you a lot for any report layout changes, other than sending it back to ourselves, the consultants, which needs to do that for you in a Microsoft report tool. Cool stuff. More exciting features on the analysis views is that you would have the ability now to add fields from different tables. So as we've seen before in our analysis views, just going to show the table quickly so we're all on that same page. So maybe if we go to posted sales invoices and you go into analysis mode, Microsoft now also gives you the ability to use queries within this view, coming in version 26.1. So that's an improvement on the version 26 that they're busy rolling out, so that you can join header and lines. So for example, if you need to have more data on your lines that's coming from your header, you can do that relationship join in between some different tables. Which I think would be a huge benefit so that you can have your reporting within Business Central and not having to do that outside. Just a couple of screenshots to show you how that will work. You can then see, add your columns. You can select from which tables you want to add the columns, what is your links or relationships that you would find specifically to that specific table, so that you can do more enhanced analysis with list reports. Version 26.1. And then lastly, just a note that there's some reports that will be and have been obsoleted, that will be removed. So just include it in a slide so that you can know that those reports will become unavailable in the new versions. Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for the time to just introduce to you what your current version 25 can offer you, as well as what's coming in 26, version 26. Please feel free to add any questions, ask any questions if there's any more questions. And if we don't get to the questions now, we can always answer them in a separate email and send it back to you. Perfect. I think that's it then for this webinar. Thank you so much for your extra time. Allows us to go through all the different new functionalities, and we're all excited to assist wherever possible. Thank you so much for your time.